Hello everyone, this is Adam Bruns. This is one of my first ever tutorial videos, well at least in the past like 3 years. Recently Unity 4.6 beta has come out with the new UI system and there haven't been that many tutorial videos on it. One of the simplest ones that I wanted to start with was the health bar. I tried to create this the other day and I couldn't find any help online, so I figured I'd share my method of doing it. I will say before we start that there should be an easier way to do it. If we can control the width of a rectangle, this could be done in seconds. However, we're unable to, so I had to kind of go a backwards way of doing it. But this is that method, and of course a better one will come along, but this is a solution for those who want it now. I'll give a demonstration real quick to show you just what we're doing. Here's the health bar at the bottom, and as you damage, it will go down. So let's start with a fresh new scene. And I'll just save that. We're going to go ahead and start by obviously creating a canvas. Now, the first thing that I'm going to add is going to be an image. This is going to be a blank image. It's just going to hold the position and all that for the bar, or for the frame and the color behind it. I'm sorry if this tutorial is a little bit hard to follow or I seem off. I've been up all night. It is 6 a.m. So make sure we have the new tool selected over here so we can move this. And we're going to set it down here. Now get the width of your image. I know mine is 556 by 28. So that's what I'm going to set this to. And I'm going to just set its anchor so it's like anchored towards the bottom a little bit. Yeah, something like that. Alright. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to set the alpha value to 0 because this is again just a blank holding object. It technically actually doesn't even need the image component on there or the canvas renderer. All we care about is its position. So we're going to add another UI image. Now this is going to be our frame, and I'm just going to rename this health bar. Yeah, with the lowercase e. Health bar. We're going to take this image now, and this is going to be our frame. So this is what's going to go in front of the health bar as a visual aid. So if I jump on this frame here and add the sprite over here, set this to 250 or 526 and 28, and set its position to 0, 0, and just have it centered. And then we're going to add another image. Now this is going to go underneath the health bar. Now this we're going to call a mask. The mask is going to have no image. We're going to add a component called mask. This is going to be set to the same width and height. Set its position to 0, 0. I'm going to focus in on it real quick so you can see it a little bit better. There we go. Now why is that? Oh, 556. I want 526. Now this is going to be set to stretch left and right. Now for those of you who don't know what a mask is, a mask, I'm sorry, I'm just checking out one thing real quick. Oh yes, that's correct. Alright, a mask is an object that will only render anything that's child to it if it is over top of it. And I'll show you what I mean in 1 second. If we add a UI image, and if we make an image child of the frame, and let's just go ahead in the mask, and you're going to want to disable show mask graphic. We don't care about that. You can see that this image will only appear behind the mask. So if we set this to be 0, 0, 5, 26, and 28, and just set its position to be 0 as well, as we grab the mask, and if we drag it left, you can see that the white image behind disappears. Now I'm going to also add the image as the sprite here. I added it for the mask though on accident. Now if we set for the sprite there. Now one thing you can do too is you can give a mask a shape. If you give a mask an image, anywhere where it is not alpha, it will draw. Anywhere it's alpha will be masked out with everything else. So by giving it a power bar color, the same as our background, you see I get this little rounded edge here. And of course as you scale it down it turns more flat. Now this, it is looking a little weird because we still have to take one more step. But real quick, as I was saying, with the width, if we could control the width, we could do this all really easily, but we cannot. There is no way to do it at the moment that I have found. You cannot change the rect because it is read-only, and you cannot set the rect because nothing happens. If somebody has a way to do this, please let me know, because I would really like to know. The last thing you have to do is set this image to be anchor left. So this way it will never move from the left position. Now, as you can see now, as we stretch it to the left and back, it doesn't change. So if we can't control the width, how are we going to control this? Well, we're going to jump into the mask. We're going to jump into the health bar here, and we're going to add a component, scroll bar. Now, scroll bar works as you would imagine a scroll bar. You click and you're able to drag an item or handle left or right, and it has a value that you can use for code. Well, if you grab the mask, and if you make the mask set as the handle rect, now this is normally what you would click on and drag. If you set it to that though, if you set its value to 0, then its size all of a sudden becomes its width. So then we are able to control its size by simply changing the size value. Now I'm going to focus in on this health bar real quick, and I'm going to make this anchor a little bit better. And I'm going to change its width. And I'm actually going to, so another little tip from me here, let's make sure its value is set to 100. If you pull out, if you try to resize a parent, it will resize the children. So I'm going to pull out the mask and the frame, and I'm going to take this health bar and I'm going to resize it to be just slightly bigger than its children. There we go. Now if we drag the mask back and the frame back, and the frame has to be underneath the mask, or mask above the frame, then now as we drag the health bar, it won't go back behind it as you saw before. So now it's time to dive into some code. I'm going to delete my old one because the code was so simple, and I'm going to create new C# C health test. I'm going to just pop this open right here. I'm going to get rid of, actually I need updates. We're going to get rid of all this. We're going to have a public. Ooh, before we start that, we need to have using Unity engine.ui. Now, this is a little bit different than before. You didn't have to have the using UI, but as of the 4.6 release now, we need to include that. So we're going to have a public scroll bar. And I just realized that I opened this up the bad way for Visual Studio. So let me reopen this. There we go. Ignore what I just did. So we have a public scroll bar, and I'm just going to get that IntelliSense there because it's a lowercase b. Scroll bar, and we're going to call this the health bar. We're going to have a public float health, and we're just going to set that equal to 100. And that will be all we need, I believe. So we're going to have a public void damage. We're going to have an amount that we need to damage, so let's just say a float value. And we're going to say health equals or minus equals value, if I can type here. Now, we don't need the update actually because we're not going to update this every frame. There's no need to. The health bar will only change when it's damaged. If you need it to update constantly, you can throw this next part in the update, of course. So we're going to set the health bar dot size equal to health divided by 100f, and that will be all it takes. So now if we jump back into Unity and let's just add a button, I'm just gonna drag that somewhere up here, yeah, just dead center, and let's just change the text real quick to be nice and neat. We're gonna call this damage. Jump into the button. We need to also, can't forget, we need to add our components. So I'm just going to add to the camera C health test, and we're going to drag and drop the health bar in the health bar, and we're going to jump down to the button, add a new on click event. We're going to call a function from the camera, and we're going to call C health damage, and let's just say 10. So now every time you hit damage, the health bar will go down until it gets to 0. And that's all it takes. As I said, it is a little bit backwards. There has to be a better way to do it, and if I can find one, I'll make sure to make another video just simply stating how to control it. Thank you for tuning in, and have a nice day.